it's Susan at Seaside Stitches. The last time I spoke to you, I did quite of a frenzy of a video because it was a catch-up from doing the So Frugal. And I just want to thank everyone who watched, everyone who subscribes and who's still subscribing after all these 3 years or more. And welcome to any new subscribers. It's great to have you with me. This is just a pop-on video on a Tuesday that I'm going to join up. It will probably be my Friday sews, but not released until Monday. That is just that will develop as I explain what's going on. So I'm going to the gathering, which is in Yorkshire. It's an evening out for people who are sewing. It's a ticket-only event. It's called The Gathering, and it's not far from Huddersfield in Yorkshire. And I'm very pleased to say that I booked my tickets in December or whenever they were released, just after Nadia from Stitch and Style by Nadia explained about it and reminded me that I did want to go this year, and I managed to get my sister involved and she's coming with me as well. So we're going on Saturday. During the day, Saturday, we don't have any plans to do any shopping. We're not doing... What I've tried to do is extend the frugal process. And so what I was just thinking the other day was, I'm trying to do something old, something new, nothing borrowed, but something blue. So that's what I'm aiming for. Now, I'll just show you now as a little peek. I did manage to make the bag that I've been wanting to make, a bag with more scraps from this dress that's behind me. And not scraps from it. From when I made it, it was a long length one, well, kind of long midi. I couldn't get the fit right at the top. It was supposed to have princess seams all the way down. Couldn't get the fit right, couldn't get the bodice right. You know, when you're fitting the bodice inside out and you think, I've got it now, I've got that one, I've got it. You turn it right way around and then you realise, because I haven't, when you turn it the right way around, you swing it round, so you've just done the wrong bust. So I made that really, really well on one side, but not the side that I wanted to. So anyway, yes, so I have had this dress since 2020. I finished it, and it doesn't get much of an airing. And I thought, now what would be nice to wear? Because it's not about, as they've said, you can make something brand new that you may never wear again, but you don't have to. So I thought, what have I got? And this is what I have. And so this, for a number of reasons, I haven't been wearing, one of which I put a little weight on my tummy and it wouldn't fit me, and that's that. So then I've had, from some of the scraps when I did make it into what I made it, so I cut this off. I managed to get the bodice from something else. I cut this off. It's an old story. It's on a video about my fourth one when I'm stuttering and stammering and I don't know who I am even. And I managed to change it, and I really love the dress. But as I say, I don't wear it very often, but there was some scraps left. On my Vlogmases in December 22, I was making a quilted sandwich, hoping I would make a bag. I finally did make a bag, this bag, the Open Wide by Annie Open Wide bag. I made it out of the scraps, and I finished it in January last year, so January 23. And then I've been sorting out my sewing room for a long time, and I came across a little bag of scraps, and they were scraps, all different shapes and sizes. And over the last couple of months, I've took one lot to the Sewing Social at Northwest Sewing Social that Christine at Gemini Stitches runs with the lovely Sharon. And I took it there to do a bit more patching it up. It's all random patching, just if I've got a thin sliver or a fat bit or whatever. There's no patchwork intention about it, just to make fabric from it. And I'm so, so pleased, because I set myself 2 tasks this month, only 2 sewing tasks. I've kept to that. I have done a little bit more on the shirred skirt that I did for the So Frugal challenge. I took that to the Sewing Social, and I've added more and more rows. I've not finished it because I wanted to park it so that I could concentrate on my outfit for the gathering. So what I did manage to do, and I didn't know which bag I was making because I didn't know how many scraps I would have, but lo and behold, I had enough scraps to make the Bowl Me Over bag. Now it looks very padded because I only finished it the other day, and I'm just padding it out now so that I can take some photographs of it and put it in the monthly challenge, this By Annie monthly challenge photo. The bag makers, the By Annie bag makers photo challenge that she holds every month. So I wanted to put it on, so I just padded it out so that it can find its proper shape now, and then when I take the padding out it'll be lovely. So do I want this as an evening bag? Well, why would I take such a big bag as an evening bag? Well, when you're 70, you need to know that you've got your knee blanket for when you're coming back in the taxi, and your emergency flip-flops, and or possibly your industrial strength tenor lady. So that's the bag I want to take. That's the dress I want to wear. And then there is a jacket that I'm making. And do I have the pattern in front of me? No. So I'll show you that later on in it. But that's one of the sleeves. And I've had a bit of an adventure with this pattern. The pattern has worked out fine so far, but it's the 23rd, and that's a Tuesday now, and the due is on the 27th. So we're leaving here, and I'm leaving here at 8 o'clock in the morning, picking up my sister who is coming with me from Warrington, and we're coming over. And sorry, I looked out then. Across the back, they've got one of those tall flags that you have when you've got a mobile home, you stick it outside and you can tell yours on the park. Well, they've got one, it just kind of blew and it just caught my attention. Sorry about that. So yes, it's a panelled top. I don't have that, I do. So that is the pattern. It is my first Know Me pattern that I'm doing, and there is a full sew along with it, but it's not quite available in this country yet. And I spotted the pattern in a sharing of what the spring makes were for 24 from Inside the Hem. I've forgotten her name again. I love watching her videos. I've watched them for years. So anyway, I do apologise, I look a bit of a sight. I've had some issues sleeping, and I did take a Nitol last night, so I was like, ooh, flopped out, but I'll explain why I had to get up early this morning in a minute. So it isn't available in this country, or it wasn't when I got it, but I got in that kind of like, oh, I don't want it to become a trend. Now maybe it wouldn't be anybody's trend, but I don't like it if I haven't already jumped on, like the peony dress, or, well, the pogo up I'd never have made, it's not my fit. The Donish shirt, that's not my fit. But some things, when they become like almost viral, I wouldn't make it, because I don't want to make everything something that everyone else has made. It's just a funny thing of myself, really. I don't mind if I suddenly want to make something and there are a lot of them about. That's not a thing. It's if it becomes a thing, like, oh, we must make this, so I don't want to be part of that. So I wanted to make it, but not if it became a thing. And so I did check on Sew Direct, which is the kind of umbrella company that you can get all your big 4 patterns from, and simplicity basically, isn't it? So anyway, I checked on there, and it wasn't for sale in this country unless you're a member of the VIP thing, which you pay £16 a quarter, or I can't remember now. You get some free patterns, and also you get 40% off any patterns that you buy. So I bought it, and I managed to get a proper paper one. I don't like PDFs if I'm wanting to do it fairly soon, because then I have to send it off and get it back. But the first couple of days I spent just cutting it all out, all the pieces, onto my Swedish tracing paper, which was running low, and then I had to buy more tracing paper. It started off being quite a frugal thing, this, and I'd spotted this fabric. It's a twill, never worked with twill before that I can remember, so I may have in the 70s, but not since I've got back into sewing in the 2020s. So I've had a bit of an adventure with it. So I did sew the back panel, which is on the faux. I did a really good thing. I washed my fabric, of course. I pressed my fabric, and then I cut it up. I cut out the pieces I needed to cut out, and then I put together the back panels and realised the one in the centre back had a light coloured crease mark in it. There was no crease that had been ironed out, but there was a white, so it's been on the bolt for quite a while, and it's gone, and it's either had light on it, or it's just that the weave has started to show through in that place. So I had to unpick that and make a new batch. I had only cut out one collar piece and I should have cut out two. I'd cut out one and I'd cut out the interfacing. I knew I should have cut out two, but I hadn't done. So I thought, well, I'll just prepare this first piece. I'll put the interfacing on. And I did that, and when I came upstairs, I'd put it on the outside of the fabric. So that wasn't helpful. So as I was already having to cut another piece of collar, I cut both the pieces of collar that I should have been cutting. So that was that. What else happened? A number of little bitty things happened, but I was a bit nervous about changing my overlocker thread, because it had been a bit dodgy before the sewing social that I'd been to on the Sunday on the 14th of April. But I was crowing, you know, we were talking about overlockers, and I said, I beat mine. I beat it. I changed its thread about the 8th time I changed it, and it just drove away wonderfully. Because before I'd had a tension issue and I was trying to figure out what that was. It's a bit baggy on the loop behind. I was trying to figure out, do I need to change this and this, or shall I just rethread again? And I managed to rethread it, and it was beautiful, and it ran, and I took the lilac piece of fabric that I'd done with it on, and yes, and then I tried to change I changed the thread again to the blue, because obviously the lilac wouldn't do. And each panel you sew it to the next panel and then you top stitch it, but you overlock it before you top stitch it. Well, it wouldn't let me overlock it. Before I started on that, I overlocked it with the lilac thread on a piece of spare fabric, and it worked fine. It was a bit chip-choppy on the edge, so I decided that I would cut the edges with my rotary cutter just finely on each one, and then offer it to the, whatever that is, the overlocker. And then you press that to where you're going, and then you do 2 rows of top stitching, which I've never done before on anything that matters in terms of that kind of denim kind of top stitching thing. Don't know if you can see that. Anyway, so I got as far as I could get without having to change the overlocker thread, and then I changed it, and then it wouldn't work. It not only would it not loop properly, it was then being a bit nuisancey, and then would keep snapping and this and that. And then I kind of walked away from it and decided I would do as much as I could without bothering it again, letting it settle itself down, so to speak. And then, okay, it was like, it's crunch time now, I've got to rethread it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I could perhaps contact my friend Ruth and see if I could go around and overlock a few pieces. And then, or I could, if there's a sewing social at Lytham, I could perhaps go there and just use their overlocker. So I had a backup plan. Or so I thought, but that was only in my head, wasn't it? And that would depend on the mood I was and the confidence I had to approach someone else or whatever. Anyway, yesterday afternoon, just after lunch really, I did have another go with it. I threaded everything really just carefully and gently, and when I got to the looper that you have to push in, you do the funny thing with your tweezers and your thing, and you push that in. It wouldn't go in. It wouldn't go in. It just kept bouncing back out. It just wasn't for threading at all. It wasn't about, it doesn't like this thread, or it's a bit tight here or a bit slack there. So I went away and I breathed, and then I went back and I checked it again, and there was no way it was going to thread. It was going to take anything through into where it takes it and leaves it. It was just bouncing about. So to get the catalogue, the equivalent of the Argos catalogue out. Anyway, what I decided was, in comparing prices, and I wouldn't be able to pick it up till 10 tomorrow, and that would have been today. All this stuff, I ended up getting it from Janet at Fabrics at Fleetwood, and she was an absolute star, because they're closed on, but they're closed on Mondays. And I was like, yeah, but I need it now, I need it now. Not to her. And you know when you kind of feel like you're losing it a bit? Well, today, everything was a tip when we came back. So I'll tell you what happened in between in a minute, but no, I'll tell you the story. So I got a click and collect message that it would be ready at 12:30 today. So I was like, oh, well, I've still got this to do and that to do, and I can do all the other things except the overlocking, because I can't join anything together, can't put the yoke on till all the top stitching is done. So it's just holding me up really. Anyway, I bought one from Janet's at Fabrics at Fleetwood. The thing said I could collect it at 12:30 today. So I left a message in the message box and asked if there was any chance that, and she's been part of this journey of when I went in to try and find some extra lining for the bag or this and that, and top stitching thread, and then 2 extra blue threads because it was going out faster than I thought. And so she's been aware that I've got this deadline that I'm aiming for. Now, if I don't make it, I don't make it. It doesn't matter. I will still wear the dress. I will take the bag. I have got a pale blue Wrangler jacket that I bought to use with this anyway when I made it, and it was in an exhibition, a local. Not because it's so marvellous, but it was just, this is what we get up to in this area. Lots of crafting, lots of sewing, lots of painting, lots of designing and things like knitting, crochet. And so it's had an outing in an exhibition, and I wore that with the jacket, with the Wrangler jacket I'm talking of, on the promotional photo for the brochure. I thought, I've got a jacket anyway, I'll be really happy. I've made the bag out of nothing really. It's just scraps. It was the Bayani Soft and Stable that I had left over, and I did need to buy a little bit of strapping just for the bits here, whatever. They're not here because they're on the bag. The bits here. Where are the bits? Oh yes. There's a bit of strapping there and a bit of strapping there. So yes, so I was staying frugal, but I've blown my budget on frugal, and so I've had to buy an overlocker, so I haven't actually used it yet. And I shouldn't be talking to you, I should be on there now. So I thought, I'll just get you as far as I am, and then I'll fill you in nearer the time. If I do finish it, I'll show it you, and I won't release the video until after the event. But I'm so happy now that it feels more manageable. I'll just show you a little bit. Okay, so that is the back. There's a yoke to go on the top, and these are the fronts. It appears not to, oh, and the mithering bit was, but should I do a toile and lower the bust, and should I do this and should I do that, and what if? Anyway, I didn't do, because I just thought, make it and trust. But what I did do was I found the apex mark on the panel, on the pattern, and I put the yoke bit together with it, the yoke pattern and the pattern for the where it holds the apex mark, and I measured down how you do that, so that to see if it was low or high or whatever, and it looked like it would fit me where I needed it, so I didn't alter it, in the hope that I'm right. But anyway, I'm not really bothered. If I keep it on, I'll be dancing about in it, so it won't matter, and if I take it off, I'll have took it off, so it won't matter. Yes, so I'm going to get on with that now. I'm going to go and do my practice. I've set up my stall, and well, it's just lovely to chat with you about something exciting. So I apologise, I just kind of jumped out of bed this morning. I took a night oil because I've not been sleeping, so I was a bit bleary-eyed, and I'd said to Ellen, I'm not having an alarm, I'll just get up when I've kind of slept it off. And so I did do that, and I was having a wash, and I thought, my phone has pinged. So I came to see it, and it said, because if you're standing at my front door, Janet lives that way towards Blackpool and Fleetwood is that way, and she just said, I'm just going to pass your house, your overlocker will be ready to pick up in 20 minutes if you'd like to follow me. So I quickly got ready, picked whatever was there and something for the weather. Let's get out there, let's get to Janet's and let's get this overlocker back. So that's what I did. So I'm so pleased I did. But in trying to swap mine, get the plug out from the hole in the whatever, the cable, and faff about, and then I'm knocking a pattern off with one elbow and knock something else off with my bum as I walk past. Everything has just been a chaotic mess in here. And I had a paddy because I've got no replacement lint roller pieces. You know, when you have a paddy for something really, really stupid, it became, where are they all? So I found 3 different ones and they'd all had the last pieces taken off. You know, you throw a wobbler for nothing, because it's not nothing, is it? We did find them. We did find them because I knew we had 2-3 packs still left somewhere, but we'd had so many, not in this room, we'd had so many move-arounds in the house since I needed one. My chair was all full of bits. I can't sit on that if I get, and I've been rolling myself all the bits off, everything just dropping off me for days. Right, so on that note, I'll see you again in a few minutes, but for me 3 days will have passed. Bye for now. Okay, I'm just popping on. It's Thursday morning. I've just been working. It's Thursday lunchtime. I've just been working and I'm just popping on to see. I'm struggling really to know whether I'm going to finish this in time, but I'm just going to carry on a little bit longer today. Had this band to put on. I couldn't quite gather from the sew along or from the instructions exactly which bit I was doing to alter this piece that goes on the thing wherever it goes. But I've sorted that now, and I took a little time and have turned over the bottom edge, the edge that will become the bottom when it turns in and becomes under here. You don't need to know that, but I'm just telling you, I don't know that I'm going to be able to wear it for Saturday. I'm clunking because there are all the clips on it. I've still got the collar to put together. I'm going to put a little bit of footage that I've done from yesterday, and I've got the facings done now, and I have to turn the shoulder up and I have to turn the bottom up. So we'll see. But at this point, I don't know that I'm going to be able to go with it, take it with me, because I've got the bottom band to do, I've got the facings to do, I've got the collar to do, I've got the sleeve to do, and if I'm going to button it, I'm going to have to do 10 buttonholes on the various bits and the buttons, and I think if I get anywhere, I'll just not use the buttons. But I'll just show you the back so far. So I do love it, but there you go. So, front facings, collar, sleeves yet. We do have a band on the bottom. We do have the sticky outy bit. It's a bit weird, but there you go. It does actually go with the dress, which is very nice. But it might not be coming to Wales with me. Wales? Sorry. It may not be coming to Yorkshire with me. But it may be okay for my holidays in June. Okay. I'll plod on. Okay, so sadly, I've had to give up on it. And it's definitely not going to the ball. And the overlocker certainly couldn't make friends with me, and that's been a bit of a journey and a bit of a worry and a bit of all sorts of things. But never mind, I am going to the gathering. I'm going to the gathering in my lovely dress with my lovely bag that matches, and I will be on the other side. I will come back and tell you how it went, what it was like, and share you some of the processes of the makes that I did take. Well, the makes that I've made in April. So thank you for staying with me. And if it's an anticlimax, it's not really. I got despondent on the Thursday night, but I decided it's ridiculous, just keep going. I was working Friday morning anyway, and it was just too much to be messing about with. I'll just show you where I got to. Okay, so I did get a little bit further. I got the facings clipped on. This is a turning under for the seam allowance. You have to sew it onto the inside of the shoulder seam. This one is the seam allowance turned up on the bottom. You have to sew it underneath the band there. I'd still got some top stitching to do under that one and above that one, so that would have to be done before I put the facing on. And then there's the collar, and then there's this and that. So I wasn't going to rush on the Friday afternoon. I hadn't even packed, so I'm just letting you know how things were when I left. Thanks ever so much for watching. It's been great sort of leading you up to this. I'm so pleased that I only concentrated on the two things. Yes, I do wish that I'd started it sooner. I had the fabric, I had little bits of time in between the bag, but I wanted to make the bag. The bag was my priority, and I'm glad I chose that. And I'm still up for, I'm curious as to how this is going to look on me. So it's all been a journey, and I'll share some of the processes. And this has made me feel good about myself, that I've actually managed to do the 1/16 of an inch and the 1/4 of an inch top stitching, and I really like the look of it, and I feel more inspired about my I don't know what the word is, but it's just really dull in here, and I can't put the lights on because they're strobing a bit. Until they warm up a bit, they strobe. So I just want to say hi and bye. Okay, so I am really looking forward to what's ahead of us, really. So bye for now.